What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have some updates and video footage for you on stimulus packages and stimulus checks as we're hearing Congress members saying it's time to pass more stimulus provisions for the American people and focus on our domestic economic issues. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is it time to do this, provide more stimulus to the American people, or should we hold off on more additional spending as we're dealing with inflation, high gas prices, and high food prices? Well, you guys, we're hearing that the push from Congress, it's increasing, and we're hearing it's very likely that checks and more stimulus is going to be passing as we get closer to midterm elections, as Congress members are going to try to remind voters to keep them in power and vote in their favor. Take a look at some of the things I've been sharing with you very quickly on stimulus checks. Federal level for everybody in the nation. With inflation at a 40-year high, the Food and Fuel Family Services Act would give millions a $600 stimulus check for food and gas. And I shared all the details with you in my previous video. If you missed it, check it out. Also, very quickly, Republican representative is pushing for a $1,000 stimulus check to all Americans to help out here domestically. They said if we're sending money to Ukraine, we should do the same here for our people. And check out that video if you missed it as well. I cover all the details. Now, I also reported to you that the Senate did pass that $40 billion Ukrainian aid package. It just went through, and I've got video footage for you as we're going to be hearing senators and representatives saying, listen, if you're sending out that money abroad to other nations, we need to send money to our people here. And it looks like the push for stimulus checks and packages is increasing, and we're going to be seeing, because in addition to that, take a look at this. Joe Manchin has said that he wanted to focus on Ukraine, and then after that, our economic issues, our economic agenda here in the United States. So attention is now turning towards helping out our economy and stimulus in the United States. And I covered the details for you, as he said. Once we get this bill through, we will focus on a slimmed down Build Back Better package with stimulus provisions to go out. And we're going to be seeing what they're able to get on board with. Now, also, if this doesn't go through, we've heard the president say that he's willing to do executive orders and executive actions to pass things through, because in this midterm election year, they have got to get things done if they want to stay in their position of power. However, we're also hearing that it looks like executive orders might be needed as legislation is stalling in Congress. Take a look. Just coming out yesterday, the Senate blocks a $48 billion aid package for restaurants and other small businesses, and we had heard this was coming, a new wave of stimulus spending to help out businesses, and we're hearing it was blocked in the Senate. So it looks like we're not getting progress in Congress with legislation. So we will see, but I've got video footage for you. You're going to be hearing directly from Congress members saying we have got to get this through, and also an update for you on the passage of that Ukrainian aid bill, what's included, where it's going, and we will see if there's going to be more aid coming here domestically to the American people. So let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest. But also very quickly wanted to mention, check out the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. I share with you on that channel things that I have learned over the years from multimillionaires that have helped bless me and my family and create financial freedom. And I pray that it does the same for you. I share about starting businesses, investing in real estate, stocks, crypto. If you're interested, I'll pin a comment down below. You can click the link, go subscribe, and turn on notifications. And again, hope that's a blessing to you. More content coming on that channel as well. And if you appreciate the updates here on this channel, don't forget to take a quick second and smash that like button for me. Helps me out a ton with the algorithm. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, totally free, why not? Come join the Ram fam. I'll let you know everything going on federal levels, state, county, city, everything happening in Congress and what's going on with our economy. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. And let's start off with some video footage, as we're going to be hearing from a House representative who's saying we need to help out our people domestically before sending out more money and more spending and more debt to other countries. Go ahead and take a look and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
So the Senate has just passed the $40 billion Ukraine aid bill. Joe Biden is expected to gleefully sign it very soon. 11 Republican senators voted against it. In the House, 57 Republicans opposed the bill. One of them was Texas Congressman Chip Roy. Here's why he said he voted against it.
When I hear the majority leader of the other party say, quote, a time of war, when I sat with the majority leader in a Rules Committee meeting upstairs and he said, we're at war, and I'm wondering when we voted to go to war. If we're going to have a proxy war and we're going to give $40 billion to Ukraine because we want to look all fancy with our blue and yellow ribbons and feel good about ourselves, maybe we should actually have a debate in this chamber, a debate in this body, because the American people expect us to do that.
So that's the majority view in the country. That's what most people think. It's not at all what the leaders of both parties think, and they are absolutely united in this. Ukraine's borders are not just more important than our borders, but they're so much more important that they're spending 10x protecting Ukraine than what they're spending protecting this country from fentanyl pouring in and human trafficking, because that's what they care about. Chip Roy is the man you just saw from Texas. He joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us tonight. You are one of relatively few to say this. I think you're probably speaking for the majority of your constituents, are you not?
Yeah, no question, Tucker. I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from all the people that I represent in Texas who are just sick and tired of business as usual in Washington. And look, you posed the question to senators. Look, I had 5 hours to make a decision about that bill. I didn't think it was that hard. You posed a question to senators, asked them to come on your show to defend the vote. Did any of them take you up on it?
Not one. Not one.
Yeah, of course not. Because it's indefensible to fund $40 billion unpaid for at a time of rampant inflation in our country. In effect, you're basically pouring $5 gasoline on the runaway fire of inflation for the men and women who you're working hard throughout this country. And the senators are now hiding behind saying, oh, $40 billion isn't that much money, Tucker. $40 billion isn't that much money. And you know what they're saying? They're saying take a leap of faith and make sure that we put our faith in the brass at the Pentagon. The same brass that walked out of Afghanistan, leaving $85 billion of equipment behind, walked away from Bagram. The same brass that told us 2 months ago that Kiev would fall in a week. Why are we following that? The Senate should be ashamed of itself, passing a $40 billion unpaid for bill while the American people are suffering with rampant inflation. And now, you know what's happening in the House? You have my colleagues in the House who are coming up to me and saying, oh, Chip, you guys in the Freedom Caucus are daring to force votes on a bunch of bills and making us vote. We missed 8 fundraisers this week. Fundraisers, Tucker. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we interfere with your steak dinner rather than doing the work for the American people? That's what the American people are sick of in this town.
They're being manipulated by the intel agencies. They're telling you haven't seen the intel. These people are idiots. They believe what they read. Scary. It's really scary. I appreciate your bravery, Congressman Chip Roy.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below it. And one of the things to note is that representative was a Republican. We have Republican and Democratic support now for an additional aid here for our economy, for stimulus checks. And we're seeing a whole lot more of this. Support is coming, and we're hearing it's going to be ramping up. And I've been letting you know here on the channel. That is because stimulus checks are extremely popular and are the top provision for fighting poverty during this pandemic. And we're expecting that in a midterm election year, as we get closer, there's going to be a lot of support for this, and it's very likely we could see something pass, and those that pass it are going to remind voters that they did so that way they can vote in their favor in the midterm elections, and so that way they can stay in power. So as this ramps up, as we get closer, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. Now, in addition to that, let's take a look at what just passed in the Senate for that $40 billion aid package for Ukraine and where it's going to be going. Here's the video footage.
In Washington, the Senate overwhelmingly passing a new $40 billion Ukraine aid bill. Meanwhile, President Biden meeting with the leaders of Finland and Sweden at the White House about their NATO applications. We've got team coverage. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Raff is on the Hill, and NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli is in Seoul, South Korea, ahead of the president's arrival there. Ali, the Senate passed this Ukraine aid bill 86-11. Tell us what's in it and who voted against it.
Yeah, Allison, well, roughly 3 weeks after President Biden initially requested this funding, the Senate passed today this 10th aid package for Ukraine, and at $40 billion. It's much more than President Biden's initial request. This $40 billion is divided into a couple sections. I'll tell you a little bit about where this money is going to go. There will be $19 billion in defense and intelligence support. $15 billion will go to the State Department Department for Humanitarian and Refugee Aid, almost $4.5 billion to disaster aid, and $5 billion will go to the oversight of this money. As you mentioned, Allison, 11 senators opposed this bill, all of them Republicans. I believe we have a graphic here to show you exactly who those senators were, and all of them had differing reasons for why they were opposed to this bill. Some of them argued it's just too much money. Some of them said Europe should be responsible for footing a little bit more of this bill. Others said that there are other crises that Americans are dealing with, such as the crises at the U.S.-Mexico border, inflation, high gas prices, that the money in this package, some of it could go towards alleviating. One senator, specifically Senator Rand Paul, who opposed this bill, single-handedly held up the passage of this bill for a week after he requested the assignment of an inspector general to oversee where exactly this funding would go. At the end of the day, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer decided against that it should not be in the language of this legislation, and they'd move forward with this bill anyway. But despite all this, there was a success in the Senate today. This bill now heads to President Biden's desk for signature, something that he, I'm sure, has been eagerly awaiting doing for several weeks now, Allison.
All right, Mike, pardon me. Let's talk about what's going on there. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announcing $100 million in new military aid for Ukraine about an hour after that Senate vote we were just talking about. What is in that new package?
Yeah, and as Ali indicates, President Biden eager to sign that new aid package into law. He'll probably do so on his way here to South Korea. But interestingly, in the statement in which the president thanked congressional leadership for getting this through so quickly, he announced the latest, it's actually the 10th, what they call drawdown of defensive equipment for the Ukrainians. This is the 10th time that they are drawing down from the DoD stockpiles for this. And you see some of the equipment there. It's howitzers, tactical vehicles to get those howitzers to the Ukrainians quickly, and also counter-artillery radar. This is equipment that the administration says can really support the kind of efforts the Ukrainians have been waging valiantly in the face of Russia's aggression. Now, this brings to about $4 billion the total amount of security assistance the Biden administration has provided since Russia began its invasion. But as Ali also indicated, the balance in this new aid package is significantly more tilted towards the security assistance side. So there's a lot more on the way.
So there you have it, you guys. And again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. A lot unfolding. Congress getting busy, passing legislation, getting to work before these elections, and I'll be sure to keep you up to date as more rolls out. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to stay up to date, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.